victory for Julian.
Yes. Yes.
Today's victory is the first step towards justice in this case. We are pleased that the court has recognized the seriousness and inhumanity of what he has endured and what he faces. But let's not forget, the indictment in the US has not been dropped. We are extremely concerned that the US government has decided to appeal this decision. It continues to want to punish Julian and make him disappear into the deepest, darkest hole of the US prison system for the rest of his life.
Nigel Nelson is political editor of the Sunday Mirror. He joins us now live from London to talk more about today's ruling. You know, some say this case really is about freedom for journalists. Others say, no, it's just about this man, Julian Assange, and what the individual choices he's made. I want to ask you if you see his victory today, then, as a victory for journalists or just really for one man.
No, it's a victory for one man. I mean, it was quite clear from the judge's judgment in court that this was done for humanitarian reasons. It had nothing to do with free speech. That had there not been a risk of suicide, it is likely that the extradition would have gone ahead. There was no question that the process had been handled properly. And of course, it's not quite out of the woods yet, with the US have got 14 days to appeal, and their appeal will be on the lines of that he would be as safe in an American jail as a British one. So it's not quite over yet, but I don't think at any stage this was a great victory for free speech. I also think that Julian Assange himself, that when it comes to free speech carries with it responsibility. And I do think it's irresponsible to dump thousands of top secret documents on the internet without knowing what effect they might have or how many lives might be put at risk.
Right. You know, it really is fascinating, this ruling today, because as you were saying, the judgment was really only based on Assange's mental health issues, not about the actual, merits of the allegation. And as you mentioned, he probably would have been extradited had it not been for the suicide risk that the judge stated. So let's try to understand if the U.S. position here now, when they file this appeal, will only be to prove that the U.S. prison system can be a safe place for someone who's severely depressed or mentally unstable.
Yes, that's absolutely right. What the judge here said was the extradition would have gone ahead otherwise, and on that basis, the basis for extradition from the UK is that somebody like Julian Assange could be charged under British law had he broken the law here. Now, given that was then accepted, we're really purely on this humanitarian issue. So for the Americans, all they can do is say that if he goes to a supermax jail in the States, they'll look after him properly. The judge here today was not satisfied that was the case.
Okay. What do you think, Nigel, the U.S. ultimately wants to see happen to Julian Assange? I mean, and ultimately, does it make a difference to them whether he kind of languishes in a UK prison or a U.S. prison as long as he is made an example of?
Well, he won't languish in a UK prison after this judgment, unless the Americans succeed in extraditing him. So at the moment, there's going to be a bail hearing on Wednesday when he could well be freed. Either way, if the American appeal fails, he will be freed anyway. What the Americans want is to jail him for life. I mean, he faces 18 indictments over there, and that could carry a maximum of 175 years, so he would die in jail. The chances are he wouldn't, in fact. The US government has indicated he probably would serve between 4 and 6 years. But the Americans want to make an example of him to deter other people from doing the same thing.
Okay, Nigel, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.